doesn't make any difference where the number is in your profile. Hi, I'm Marianne from Human Design Alchemy. I'm a human design coach, I'm a human design reader, and I'm a human design teacher. And in part of my work, I often get asked questions about the profile. And one that comes up quite often is about the position of the two numbers. So it is quite an interesting thing. And often you'll see, perhaps in other YouTube videos, blogs, whatever, books even, very much a view that the line 1 always means something and the line 2 always means something, despite the position. And to a certain extent, I agree with that. But there is a little bit more to it, I feel. So when people ask me this question, we dive in a little bit just to see, why are you asking me that? And sometimes it's because they really don't feel like they recognize whatever that aspect is of themselves. So this is particularly when it's in the second position. And I love to observe. I love to, almost be a little bit scientific and a bit note-takey with what's actually happening with people with their different designs. So I've created my own perception, beliefs, whatever, a little bit around profiles and the positions of the profiles. So happy if you want to, ask questions or challenge me or whatever, but let me explain a little bit about where I'm coming from. So to start with, I look at your profile as being your persona. So this is you out in the world. It's not made up, it's still part of who you are, but it's got a very particular dynamic. And this persona is created from 2 archetypes. And these archetypes are the energy of the 2 different lines. So if you know about profiles or even the lines in human design, you know that this is the hexagram. So the hexagram is made up of 6 lines going from 1 at the bottom to 6 at the top. And they can be further split into 2 sections of 3 lines. So lines 1, 2, and 3 is called the lower trigram, and lines 4, 5, and 6 are called the upper trigram. And together they make the entirety of the hexagram. But with a profile, we're just looking at combinations of those 6 lines. And when you look at the I Ching, it uses these lines as a change point essentially within the hexagram. In human design, they're seen more as an added depth and detail to how that gate appears and operates within your life. Now, of course, your profile comes from your sun gates and your earth gates. So both of the sun gates, both of the earth gates have the numbers that come together. So in other words, your personality sun and your personality earth will have the same profile number or the same line number, and your design sun and your design earth will have the same number. So in my case, I'm a 1-3. So my personality sun and earth both have a 3 as the line number. Sorry, a 1 is a line number. On the other hand, the design has a 3 as the line number. And we put it together, that's the 1-3, which is then called the investigator martyr in the more traditional form of human design. And I do like to use that language because there is a little bit of a dynamism for me around that. It may not resonate with other people, but it does with me. And perhaps this is because I have a love of history and that kinds of things. So, you know, for me, a martyr has a particular resonance that goes with it. You know, an investigator makes me think of, you know, sort of almost like a Sherlock Holmes kind of figure. So, however you view these archetypal energies that come from the lines, you know, they're going to be similar no matter what position they are in. So a line 1 is always going to have investigator energy. A line 3 is always going to have martyr energy, which is about, you know, that diving into life and damn the consequences, essentially. Come what may, you know, fail, succeed, learn, fail again, whatever. So we bring those two together and we do get a very unique and nuanced persona around that. So let's dig in just a little bit though. So what makes a line 1, for example, different when it is in the first position, so connected to the personality or the more conscious aspects, the more within our awareness, often, you know, we have more connection, but not always. I find sometimes with line 5s, people can find the connection a little tricky. That's probably, some of it would be my projection, some of it would be truth. And there is a certain ability to actually manage and work with at a conscious level with whatever's in the first position. So I'll come back to that. I'm going to talk about line 1s in particular because I've observed how the line 1 works with me and with someone who's got it in the design position. All right. So if something's in the second position, it is the design part of your human design, which means that it tends to be more of an unconscious aspect of ourselves. It's innate. It can be very much like an automatic kind of behavior or response. And sometimes people are almost entirely unaware of this line energy until they come to human design and it's like, oh, okay, didn't really think about that. But yes, I do that, don't I? So it's not something that we feel like we have a lot of control over it. Even if we do have awareness around it, it does really have this sort of almost natural, instinctual kind of energy around it, which is quite interesting. So back to the line 1. So this is our investigator line. This is the line that loves information, loves knowledge, loves to go deep into topics and, you know, essentially have that as their foundation in life. So knowledge essentially acts as a bit of a driver, no matter where you've got the line 1. Now, as I said, I'm a 1-3, so I'm very familiar with the line 1 in the personality position. I will add, just to give you the full context, that throughout my entire human design, I actually have line 1 in 12 different positions. So many more than just the sun and the earth. And sometimes it's on my conscious side, sometimes it's on my personality side, sometimes it's on my design side. But in my profile, it's very much on the personality side. And I have had this awareness my entire life that I'm here to learn. That's what I'm here for, you know, and I've basically owned that most of the time. Sometimes I've almost been, I don't know, learning shamed, if there's such a thing. You know, I've been put down and made fun of because I love learning. You know, when other people go, oh, yay, finally I finished university, no more study. I'm going, oh, well, crap, what am I going to study next? This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. And, you know, some people can't necessarily understand that. Like, they love to get the knowledge that you actually find. They love to have access to that. In my case, as a projector, that's when they've asked for it, of course. All right. But, I've been very much aware that's who I am. I'm a learner. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm here to learn lots of stuff and to pass that knowledge on, which I think is probably one reason why I became a teacher, because of that strong connection to learning and really the very strong belief that I have around the importance of learning that comes out of my profile. So that's it, sitting in the first position, very much within my awareness, and I would say within my control. I really do get to decide overall what things I put my energy and time into learning. And I can go into something for a very long time. So, for example, I spent about, let me have a quick think how long it was, maybe about nearly 20 years learning all about genealogy, even to the point of doing a genealogy diploma and a few other different courses along the way. And then I realized that I'd kind of reached the point where I felt like I had enough knowledge around that. And this is where my line 3 came into it, because it was very hard to actually experiment with genealogy, because it's very much, these are the procedures, these are the rules, this is the way you do it. Didn't give me a lot of room to play around with. And I discovered when I came to human design, I have to be able to play around with the information. I do that unconsciously, but I have to be able to do it. And I think that's why ultimately, even though I had a huge amount of knowledge, a huge amount of skill around genealogy, it's essentially on the back burner. I can still get excited by it. I can still get pulled in now and again, but I'm just really not wanting to keep trying to dig down into the knowledge if I can't do anything different with it. All right. So then what came along to take its place? Human design. Well, there's a few other things along there as well. Very much my interest became around how can you actually help people to create positive change in their life in the most vibrant and useful way. And human design became part of the answer to that. But I consciously made the choice that was what I was going to pursue as a very deep learning that I would go into. All right, that's the conscious aspect. Now, let me talk to you about some people that I know who are 5-1s. So the 1 is in that design position, that more unconscious position where there's sort of almost an automaticity around collecting knowledge. In my experience, the 5-1s that I've met, and I've met quite a few, but I'm thinking of some that I'm fairly close to, they know also that they like to search out information, but they go about it in a different way to the way that I go about it, where it really is almost an unconscious pull. So if they're going into some new endeavor, they automatically look for information. So say if they're planning a holiday, all right, they will automatically go into researching the different places, researching everything about the different places. Google, Google, Google. Google is their friend. They go into lots of different things that they're looking for, lots of all the different aspects to put together that holiday. So they almost don't have the same off switch that I have around knowledge. So it's like, oh, going on holiday, I've got to find out everything I can. So let me go and research, go and read, go and find out some stuff, talk to some people, whatever. All right, so it is very much this automatic behavior to begin gathering knowledge. I kind of like playing a little game with 5 ones. I'll have a question that would require some research, but I can't be bothered doing it. So I'll actually mention it to a 5-1 friend, and before, like, text it to them or something, and before I know it, they've come back with 3 websites and some other key bits of information they've passed on to me, and I haven't had to worry about putting my energy towards that, because my energy wants to be on, my big focus, which at the moment is human design and aspects of human design. All right, but they just need to have almost that thing to switch it on, and off they go. It's just their natural instinct to do that. All right, so obviously that's very much on the line 1, but I've noticed a similarity across the other lines in, one way or another. So, I'm a 1-3. I know lots of people who are like a 3-5. I know 1-3-6 as well. And their approach to the whole experiential living, the trial and error, is very much within their conscious awareness, where for me it just sort of automatically happens. I'm now more aware of it, and I do sort of manage it to some extent, but it just starts, I've got all that information, now it's time to do something with it. So, it definitely seems to be a pattern there. I'd be interested to hear any of your thoughts on that. And if you are wanting to actually dig in a little bit into the layers of your human design, then you can actually check out my latest short-ish course, which is Human Design Foundations, that covers profiles and a whole lot more. Okay, lovely to have a chat with you today, and I'll catch up with you next time.